Welcome to episode 41 of Paris Playbook. Today I'm joined by Myles Grix of the Gaylord Snow and the MIHL Hockey League. Myles, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm doing pretty good. We'll spend most of this episode kind of talking about the MIHL, the Michigan Independence Hockey League, get some background on that league and for anyone who's never heard of the league, it'll be a good opportunity to get some information, learn about the league, and we'll dive into all that. But before we kind of dive into the league, let's get some little bit of background on your hockey background. I know you played a little ACHA, and but I guess it might as well go back even farther before that. I mean, did you play high school hockey and midgets, mites, all that stuff growing up?
Yeah. So I started playing hockey. I think I was about five or six when I learned to skate. I actually started with figure skating, learn how to skate and everything like
Okay.
that. Um, Played hockey. Grew up playing my local rink, which we actually play at in our league against the team in Waterford, where I'm from, and became a goalie. I want to say I was 12 or 13, so I was kind of late to the goalie game, but I was always obsessed with the goalie's pads and helmets and all that stuff. Patrick for all those guys that
Oh
I grew
yeah.
up. So became a goalie. I played house goalie for a year, and then the next year I was playing Double A travel. And then about 2, 3 years later, I was playing high school hockey. So did that. Played at actually I had my senior year. I had that summer I had open heart surgery, so I took a year off of hockey and then played a year of junior hockey with the Heartland Hounds, and then 21-year-old freshman in college. So couldn't beat it.
Yeah. So you said you had open heart surgery. Did you have um like a heart condition, or what was the cause for the surgery?
So I was always told that I had a heart murmur growing up, and all the physicals you gotta do before you can play hockey, all that fun stuff. And then one day, I just started feeling sick and went and got some tests done and everything like that, and kind of came back where it was like, all right, there's a couple procedures that we can do to try and patch I had a hole in my heart, in my one of my ventricles. Some things we could do to try and patch it. It didn't work, so they had to cut me open and got it fixed. And I was back on the ice. I think a month after I was cut open. I was kind of
Wow.
determined to get back. That was the only rehab I thought was good, or the best way to do it for a goalie is to see pucks. That's the best way to get back into it. So I started playing pickup with some guys from my dad's work and other things. It was Frank Jones 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Skates at Lakeland Ice Arena and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. So I think those guys. I credit those guys for getting me back in shape and able to play junior the next year.
What was the hardest part of that recovery? Like, after you have a surgery like that, I mean, what was the most difficult thing to deal with recovering?
Um, I mean, really, just not playing competitive hockey. Like I
Yeah.
took the rehabbing and the little pickup games real serious. I wanted to do my best, but the biggest thing was not being in the locker room. I missed that, the camaraderie with the guys, and the little things. So pretty much I just focused on getting better and getting healthy. And I was lucky enough to run into one of the best goalie coaches in the state of Michigan. I think maybe in the U.S. and Randy Wilson at one of those skates, and he got me hooked up with a few coaches and some tryouts, and it all took off from there.
So is that how you ended up on some of those ACHA teams? Was after that, or did those kind of, did you stumble upon those? How'd you end up doing
So
those?
kind of stumbled upon them. Couple of them. When I was playing junior, my last year of junior, we had exhibition games against them. So I talked to their coaches, stuff like that after. And then my last year ACHA was here in Alpena where I live now. And it was just kind of, I was at a family reunion, and one of my cousins from Alpena said that the community college was getting a club hockey team. I was out of club hockey for I think 2 years. I didn't play, and I had the itch, and I just kind of smirked and said, "Give them my contact info." And next thing I know, I was moving up to Alpena, and I've been here for I think 6 years, 6 or 7.
Wow. It's crazy talking to different people who play club hockey on how they end up on club hockey teams, how different teams take it, different levels of seriousness. You look at Minot State, some of those programs, they take it super seriously, even though it's club hockey. I know some of the guys that played at Michigan Tech, so the Wolfpack, their club hockey team. And one of them, he said when he was first year, he was planning on going to their hockey tryouts, but he came out to his car in the commuter lot one day, and there was a note on his car that said, "I see you have a hockey bag in your car. You should come to our tryouts." Like somebody must have just been looking in cars and walking around and leaving notes on cars. So it's always interesting how
That's
people end up.
Yeah, that's pretty much how ACC was. I know we started the season. I think we had 8. We had 9 guys, and that was including the 2 goalies. So we had 7 guys. We had 2 guys on the bench. So we won our first game. I think we won. It was like 7-2, and it was crazy. Like I cramped up. I couldn't walk for a week. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was fun. It was. I mean, that was some of the most fun I've actually had playing hockey. I was one of the oldest guys in the room. My assistant coach on the snow now was the oldest. But it was just such a fun time being with those kids and seeing where they're at now.
Yeah.
Playing for a community college, it's 2 years, and then these guys move on, and just seeing where those kids. Everyone was 18. Everyone was fresh out of high school, pretty much. And then me, who was 26, and Dave, who was, I think he was 31 at the time.
Wow.
Uh, so it was just like we were the dads of the team, and to see where these kids are now, it's pretty cool. Some of them are golf pros at golf courses, and one of them is actually playing for the Snow now, Hunter Tolsdorf, which I'm pumped to have him on the team. Actually, Mikey Thompson is on the team as well. So we use it kind of as recruiting, and to see the kids grow up and to see where they're at, it's huge. I mean, every team I have played for, to see what happens after hockey and how guys
Yeah.
deal with it, move on and become all these different things is pretty cool.
So you said you were 26 and this other guy was 31, and were these young kids kind of skating circles around you guys a little bit, or?
Not me. No, we all hung in there. No, it was fun. I mean, I remember our first practice there. I got there. I was early in the locker room. No one else is there, and this is literally the first day I'm in Alpena for a skate, and this one kid walks in. He starts getting dressed. I'm like, "Where is everyone?" He's like, "This is usually how it goes, except we don't have a goalie." And I was like, "There's just us." So we went on the ice, me and Hunter, for probably 45 minutes, and he just shot at me. We did some crease movement drills and stuff like this, and then this guy gets on the ice with us, and he has just dirty jeans on, a flannel shirt, and a hat, just chopping. And we get back to the locker room. I'm like, "Who is that guy? Like, is that just like a maintenance guy?" He's like, "That's our coach." And I was like, "What did I sign up for?" And our coach Jeremy, he was the best. He's a blast. I love that guy to death. He's a great hockey guy, just a down to earth beauty, and it was a fun year. It really was. I wish the team stuck around for a little more than just one season, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. So we'll dive into the league here in a second, but might as well talk about how you ended up in the league first, and then we'll kind of dive into the details after that.
So there was another league at one point that we had a team in Alpena, the Alpena North Stars, and we kind of saw that the league that we were going to play in was kind of things were going south. Teams were folding, teams were backing out, teams couldn't come up with money. We knew that we were fine, and we wanted to play. So we ended up just contacting like A League, Beer League teams, other teams in the GLHL. We never got to play any of those, but that's another great league that a lot of people don't know about. The GLHL is huge. It's been around for forever. Awesome league to watch too. Great competitive hockey. But I kind of branched out and we just started playing. We had a season. We were like, we're gonna still play games. So we played a couple teams that are now in our league, which I was kind of done with hockey. I didn't want anything to do with it. And the other owners of these teams that we were playing were like, hey, let's just start our own league. You should come down. We'll have a meeting. We had a meeting down in Holland, Michigan, and there was four of us. I'm the only one that's left from the founding four in the league. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. We just kind of game planned, and then COVID hit, and that was a huge setback for us. We had the day we had a game the weekend after we found out about COVID, just exhibition games to see what kind of talent we had. COVID hit, we just kept building, kept grinding. We started with 3 teams and a prospect team, and the prospect team, no one ever showed up for them, and it kind of sucked. I think we played 12 games. It was 6 weekends. But yeah, it just sucked that no one ever showed. Like we beat them, I think it was 24-2 or something like that, and it was just we felt bad. Like the 2 goals they scored were 2 of our players that we loaned to them. So we were like, all right, we have to get another set team in this, and we brought in the Warhawks, and that now we keep growing. It's all new. A lot of new owners, like Waterford has a new owner and name change. Muskegon has a new owner. Now we're bringing in Blue Water. We've got Kalkaska coming in this year, and then we've had the Warhawks. So it's slowly growing. The name is getting out there a lot more. We have a lot more players interested in play for the league. It's a lot more competitive. We're moving up guys at a faster rate. So it's awesome. So yeah, I mean, it pretty much started of 4 guys loving the game of hockey and wanting to do something for guys that might not have got looked at by scouts, ACHA guys that just played junior and couldn't find a school or couldn't get into a school, and pay for club hockey. So that's what the premise behind it was.
You mentioned the GLHL. So I'm actually from Houghton, in the
Okay.
UP. So I know all about that league. When I was doing prior to this podcast for about a year, I did a strictly hockey podcast. I did like about 94 episodes just interviewing hockey players, and I had 3 guys from the Portage Lake Pioneers on, and we dove into the league. And I mean that, like you said, it's a historic
Yeah,
league if you
it's
look at
been
the
around
history.
10 years or something
Yeah.
like that.
If you
It's
look
been
at the Calumet Wolverines and the Portage Lake Pioneers, they play for the Gibson Cup, and that's like one of the oldest cups in North America, or like
yeah,
trophies in North America. Just across all hockey, it's really crazy, and there's a lot of crazy history, a lot of talent in that league. I mean, people, like you said, people don't know about it. But if you look on those rosters, there's guys that played D1, there's guys that played in the AHL, the NHL, the ECHL, high end juniors, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of talent.
yeah. I
Um,
know. I don't know if we will be able to do this year. I know a couple of our teams in our league will have exhibition games against the GLHL. That's something that we've talked about, is expanding and having kind of a crossover,
yeah.
like crossover tournament showcase or something one weekend. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
in the. I have so much respect for that league. I mean, every league that is competitive and has hockey, it deserves the respect it is. Because I mean, a lot of people looked at our league when we first started, and they're like, it's glorified beer league. We have guys that have moved up to the AHL, the ECHL, the SPHL, Europe. So it's not it's not as bad as people say, but I mean, it's awesome. I love it. Everyone that comes out for the first time is blown away. We had a game down in Waterford last year, and it started with a line brawl. It did, but my cousins came out. They haven't seen the teams play or anything like that. And after the first period, I talked to them. I was like, "What did you guys think?" And they were like, "This is amazing." They were like, "You guys did it!" Like this. They were like, "We watched the first 5 minutes. We're like, oh, it's a goon league," and then it turned into just great hockey.
Yeah.
And we have guys in our league that we call it a working man's league, I guess. Um, because we have guys that played in the Coast, we have guys that played in the SP. I mean, we have a guy that played in the AHL and in the Dell over in Germany. That they're done with that hockey and they work a 9 to 5, but they still have their weekends and want to play competitive hockey.
Right.
They come here, they come to our league, and it's what it's turned into. We had a 5-year plan when we started the league, and what it is now is competitive wise is past what I thought it would be. So it's pretty cool.
And it's only gonna, go up, right? And things like you mentioned, if you do get a crossover with the GLHL or other leagues around Michigan, or if there's any other leagues in the Midwest that you ever, that all that stuff's going to keep growing your league. It's going to grow their leagues. It's going to grow the game of hockey. And the more that, I know you guys have some social media, and I've seen some of your players reposting things, and the more that all happens, it's gonna grow the league. I'd never heard of the league until I saw that Keegan McGrath was playing for the Waterford Sharks. I had never heard of the league. I knew he was in the FPHL. I had interviewed him on my other podcast, but prior to that interview, I was like, oh, what's this new league he's playing in? And I started looking into it. And now I see stuff, all over the place, and hear about it from like Puck My Life told me all about it, some more, and that's kind of where I was like, it'd be cool to get someone from the league on the podcast to kind of dive into the league. So you kind of gave the background where the league came from when you guys were setting it up, planning and everything. Was there talk about rules and like, obviously you said there was a line brawl, so fighting, and you got guys like Keegan, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and we go by the SPHL rule book.
Okay.
Uh, there's a few things that we've added that make our league different, because it is a working man's league. This year, I think we're going away from a few of those and just kind of focusing on that main rule book, and going forward. So I mean, it's just simple hockey. That's all I can really say to explain it. It's just I wouldn't say there's certain rules. I mean, we do have a new governor in charge of suspensions and all that stuff and how we handle it. We like to protect our players. That's the biggest thing. Players and refs are the two biggest things that we care about protecting, and the fans. I mean, but without refs, it's just practice. It's just pickup hockey. And then with our players, if our players get hurt and everything, a lot of these guys have 9 to 5 jobs and good paying jobs. And if they get hurt playing for us and can't go to work, it kind of sucks. So protecting the players and making it a family experience for the fans in the area, that's our main goal.
Well, and having an aspect of fighting will help draw some people. A lot of people like that, and it's leaving different higher levels of hockey. You look at the NHL and the AHL, even down to the coast. It's starting to go away. SP, FP, there's still a decent amount of fighting, but the higher you get, the less fighting there is. So it could draw some fans when you have that, when you have guys like Keegan McGrath who aren't afraid to drop the gloves and give the fans a show. That's going to bring in a different kind of market group there.
Yeah, and we get that question a lot, or I'll hear fans talking to players before games when they walk by. They're like, "You're gonna fight someone today. You're gonna fight someone today." So it's there. It's part of the game. I've always said it's part of the game. I think it's a time and a place.
Right.
I don't like just the goon shows where it's just fight after fight after fight. I think I think that takes away from the art of the game. I think
Yeah.
hockey, if it's played right, it's a beautiful art, just like any sport. But it is, at the end of the day, fighting will always be a part of hockey, no matter what. I mean, I know in the Quebec Major Junior League, they've completely taken it out. If you fight, you're done, and I think you get a suspension or something like that. Um, and that sucks because it's been in the game for since it was a thing, since it was started. So our league is all for it.
Yeah. And I think you're exactly right. There's a time and a place. If you try to completely kick it out of the game, it's not a good thing. I've talked about this with many other players. It needs to be in there too. I think it in some ways it might keep the game safer. There's a lot of players that do stupid things, they do dirty plays, and then they have to answer the bell for it. Well,
Yeah,
some
it's
guys, they're not going to take that hit if they know they're going to get in a fight after, or they're not going to do something stupid if they have to fight to answer for it.
no, exactly, 100%.
So how do you guys go about recruiting players then? I mean, do you have a certain kind of target group? I know you mentioned guys that ACHA, maybe guys that couldn't make it to college, different things. Are you looking in specific areas only in Michigan or Wisconsin? Or are you kind of looking all over the place or
So this year is the first year I think a lot of our teams are kind of branching out. Since year one, I think we've only ever had one or two Gaylord natives on our team. I recruit from everywhere. Year one, our team captain was from Des Moines, Iowa. We had, we had Logan Lambden as a captain, who he played for the Chicago Wolves last year in the Florida Everblades. We had a captain from uh, Salt Lake City, Utah. We had a goalie from Massachusetts, goalie from Fort Wayne, Indiana. This year we have two guys from Florida. We have four Canadians, three Canadians, a kid from Virginia. So we recruit from everywhere. I know there's guys in the league this year that are from overseas. We get emails and messages and social media all the time from players in Australia or Sweden and all over Europe. And it's crazy that our league is known that well now that these players are seeing it and they want to come here and play in it to continue to climb that ladder and get, if they get cut from an FPHL team, they come play in our league, show what they got, and maybe next year they make that team or even higher leagues. So it's pretty cool to see that we're now every team is kind of getting players from all over the world.
yeah, that is really awesome. You got guys from like Australia or Sweden. I mean, that's a long way for word to travel. That guys are hearing about your league and they want to play in it. I mean, that's got to make you feel good too. That there's interest from all over the place. That guys want to do this.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I want to thank like the scouts and the agents and everything that we do know. I know a few of our teams in the league have a lot of guys that play for MPH or are represented from MPH. And then there's a few other agencies that are friends with people in our league that help send guys and all that. So those guys, it's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy that the hockey community is so strong. These players have so much love for the game that they're willing to move literally across the world to just continue playing the game they love. So it's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I would.
Um. So we talked about the fact that you're one of like the original members, your team, and you also mentioned at one point that you were kind of done with hockey, but I notice now you're player coach, so you're playing and coaching. What went into the decision to get back into playing along with also coaching and doing a lot of the other front office stuff for the team?
So since then, I've had to make a change. I actually am not going to play this year,
Okay.
sadly, just because there is some minor health issues that I've had in the past. I have a 1-year-old son now. I don't want to get injured or have something happen to me. Had a lot of concussions, like I said earlier, the heart issues and everything. So I've decided to kind of take. I want to come back. I'm gonna train this season when we have practice and stuff like that. I might put the pads on, but to just jump into it after 2 years of not playing, I think is kind of idiotic. And to take the ice from someone who has put in the work, put in the time over the summer, I just think isn't right. So I've decided to just kind of be back on the bench, and focus on that and focus on getting the right systems to beat the teams that we need to beat to win a championship.
Right. Well, you see that a lot with different athletes. You look at different, professional leagues, guys stop playing due to health issues because they said, "Hey, I've got a family.
Yeah.
It's not worth it." You know what I mean? And you can stay actually, in the game in other ways. Like you said, you're still going to be coaching, obviously, with the team. There's different aspects you can still be a part of the game, even if you're not playing. And if you want to work at it, and however long it takes to train to get back out there, and you can take that time, however much you need.
Yeah. And the other thing, like when we first started the league, the skill level was nowhere close to what it is now. And that's the other thing. Like at the beginning, I was like, all right, I can hang with these guys. Now I see some of these players, I'm like, how is his shot that hard? Like, how is he not in another league that's higher up? It's some of these kids, it's crazy. I mean, we have a guy on our team who's I think he turned 46 this year, and his half clapper. I'm like, how? Like, what? No one's stopping that, and it's just, do I have the? Am I confident enough that I could get back and play and be competitive in the league? 100%. But is it worth it to me when I like not having to be sore the next day? I'm sore enough chasing my 1-year-old around the house. It's
Yeah.
go for a whole 60-minute game of getting shot at by these players in the league. There's so much talent around the league, and I like where I'm at. I like the bench. It's
Yeah. No,
warmer.
I totally get what you mean. I mean, I'm only 22, and I'm starting to realize going to pick up basketball or pick up football or stuff with guys. I mean, I'm sore after it. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're like, guys we're out there wheezing or whatever. Like, we're
yeah.
not as
It's
young as we used to be. I mean,
no, which it's crazy too. Is like there are some guys that are older than me on the team, and I look at them like you guys are crazy. You guys are nuts. Like we have, I think, 2 guys in their 40s on the team this year, and I'm like, you guys are nuts. I would never.
Yeah.
There's no
Oh
way
yeah. It's
at all.
crazy.
31, and I'm like, I'm good. I like it here.
Yeah.
There's no bruises. There's no, you don't wake up in the middle of the night going, what did I do? Where did this bruise come from? So it's a lot safer where I'm at now.
Yeah. When I was doing the Twig Snapper podcast, I had Jeff Zaire on he was a first round pick with Boston Bruins, had a lot of injury struggles, really never played a lot in the NHL, but he had like a long career in the coast. He is, I can't remember exactly, part owner of a team or something like that within the Western Ontario Super League, one of those super leagues up there.
Like
And
the
like the what?
like the senior A leagues, kind of.
Yeah, I think so. It's the WOSHL or something like
Okay.
that. And he said he had started same thing. He was just a coach, and then they kind of, he said a lot of the guys making dumb mistakes or different things. He's like, oh, I'll jump out there because I know I can still. There's just things you can't really teach. You just
Yeah,
know after playing hockey for so long. But he told me, he's like, yeah, my knees, it's like bone on bone and like all this stuff. And he's like 40 again, like 46 years old. And he said, like, I just can't imagine doing that. I can't.
I love the game of hockey, but to me, the physical activity just doesn't sit well with me anymore. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
I'm a dad now. I just want to chill
Yeah.
on the have a couple beers, watch some hockey, watch some football, hang
Right.
out. That's it. I don't want to have to wake up in the morning, stretch,
Yeah.
go go to
Ah,
the
my
gym.
back. Ah.
Yeah, my fiance, she's 7 years younger than me, and I'll get up off the couch and just be like, oh, and stuff like that, and she's like, makes fun of me for being an old man, but it's true. I my body is
Yeah.
31. I feel like I have the body of a 55-year-old
Yeah.
man, not not good to himself, not a healthy 55-year-old man.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Um, so do you guys have like a league commissioner, or do you kind of just get together as each of the heads of the teams, and you meet and you discuss things and
Yeah. So we there has been talks about getting a league commissioner, which I think is a great idea. I think it talks about a lot of things where we need people in charge of different aspects of it. Right now, it's just owners get together and we have a vote. And if it's split down the middle, which we've never had, this is the first year with 6 teams, so I don't know what we're gonna do with that. But usually we all agree. We agree on a lot of things. There's sometimes where the votes are 4-1 or 3-2, but usually it's all unanimous that we agree. We all want what's best for the league, and that will help the league grow and continue growing.
yeah. So, off of that, what do you think is the future? You mentioned kind of your initial 5 years, and never thought the competitive level would be where it's at. If you look at 5 years in the future, what's the plan or the goal for the league?
Uh More money for the league. That's the big one. More, I mean, more fans too. We do okay in Gaylord. I know Muskegon does well. Um, I know Calcasieu's gonna do well. I know Waterford, they have a good following. Um, but definitely to bring in more sponsors and get our name out there more, and more funding for all the teams through the league, for the referees. Um, we have a lot of volunteers that bleed that baby blue for us, and I wish we could afford to give them something instead of just taking their time. I have guys that come to every game that sit outside in the lobby and sell tickets and only get to watch the third period, and to me that sucks for them. They're there all our events during the summer. They come, they hang out, they do all this stuff, they hang out with us after, and they only get to watch a period, and that sucks. So if I could just make it worth their while with money, um, and pay them and stuff like that, and the players too. These guys are sacrificing their bodies um, for a weekend when they have to go to work on Monday morning. And if we can start getting somewhere where players at least are fully insured or stuff like that, that's what I want. It's not money in my pocket. It's money to the other teams to help them grow. Um, I'm really comfortable with the 6 teams we have right now. I would like 8 at one point. Um, but I think trying to throw too many teams in a league at once is how it's going to crumble quickly. And um, I think what we started with the 4 or the 3 with the prospect team, and then went to 4, and then went to 5, and now where we're at. This year. I think we're growing at the perfect rate. I would say probably 2 more years of just the 6 teams, and then bring in a couple expansion teams. But who knows? I mean, um, there could be expansion teams next year.
Right. You just got to do it when it feels right, when it fits. You don't want to force it, like you said. You see it all the time with leagues at different levels. Things get forced and they crumble.
Yeah, and
And
that's startup leagues are hard. Like, to just start a league out of nowhere, it's insane. It's what we were thinking back in 2020, wherever we started this. We were nuts. And then, like, I mean, we did it through a pandemic. And
yeah,
once we got the first year, and we actually played, we didn't get to start the season until I think it was February, actually. It might have been late January. But once we were able to get that down, I was like, we just made it through a pandemic. This league, there's no stopping us. We're just going to continue to grow. And I always thought it would be kind of be the same skill level. And then it was just our name got out there to the players all around, and they get cut from an FPHL team, and then they want to continue playing and get in shape for tryouts next year, so they come to our league, or guys get cut from the SP and stuff like that. So, or I mean, we have guys that one of our best players in franchise history. We just met him at a stick and puck. He just came out, and we were like, "Who are you?" And he told us, and we were like, "Do you want to play for us?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll play." And he's one. I think he's fifth all time in point, fifth or fourth all time in points. So you never know who you're gonna find. Like I said, like we catered a lot to the ACHA guys, but there's guys that played high school hockey that didn't have the money to go play junior B or something like that, and just kind of stuck around their hometown and played men's league, and are very talented and have the opportunity, or have the skill set, I guess I should say. Didn't have the opportunity, but have the skill set to maybe get that opportunity to go play in the Fed or the SP or even higher. So that's what our main focus is, and our goal is to get guys up to higher leagues and climb that ladder, while bringing, like, my pitch when we first started, which I think it's turning around now with the Iser plan, but my pitch was always, I have a hard time believing people want to drive 4 hours from Gaylord to go watch the Red Wings lose 6-1 to the Florida Panthers, when we can put a competitive style of hockey right in your backyard for a cheap price. $10 is the highest ticket that we sell, and that's kind of how we started, and it's growing, and we have a lot of people. We go to Gaylord, there's guys on the team that if they're in Gaylord for a week and are signing autographs while they're out to dinner, or they see fans wearing their t-shirts and all that stuff. So it's awesome. The community in Gaylord has welcomed us, and it's been such a blessing for us to have the people over there that we have.
Yeah, yeah, the league is, I think it's awesome, and the growth is going to keep coming. And there needs to be leagues like this where there are opportunities for guys, because sometimes it's all somebody needs is that opportunity that they didn't get somewhere else, and then it takes off, and they can end up who knows where, any higher league, like you mentioned, different guys that have played in your league that have gone on. I mean, all it takes is that one chance for a lot of people. So I think it's awesome, and it's just going to keep going up from here once you guys keep gaining more and more traction. So let's just talk about a few kind of just random hockey things now. Like, what's your favorite NHL team? Are you a Red Wings guy?
Oh, sadly, I mean, I respect them for being the franchise they are. I really do. I always grew up a Capitals and Avs fan. Like I
Okay.
said, Peter Forsberg, those guys were the guys that I watched. Olaf Kolzig, Adam Oates. Um, those were kind of the guys that I grew up idolizing. They were the bad guys. Like in Star Wars, I was like Darth Maul and Darth Vader, and kind of like bad guys, and they were the bad guys. Everyone I knew was a Red Wings fan, so I was just like, all right, who do they not like? Like in Jurassic Park, I rooted for the dinosaurs. I was like, oh. So that's kind of how I've always been. But yeah, no, I grew up a diehard Caps fan, and Colorado Avalanche fan. So I've been kind of blessed the past few years. While the Wings are struggling, and my teams have been doing pretty good, but I think my team is kind of on the decline, and the Wings are on the way up. So it's going to be a struggle with all the crap I've talked to my friends over the past since 2018, reminding them once a year that we won the Stanley Cup, and then so the time's coming where it's going to be payback.
Yeah, yeah. The Capitals are
It's not going
kind
good.
of
It's not going
starting to
good.
fall off.
Record, and we'll be fine. It's
Yeah,
I think really he should have already had it, because you think it's technically his rookie year. They had the lockout, and then I think there's two other lockouts or three lockouts that he went to, and then I mean Wayne Gretzky invented COVID to try and stop him from breaking the record. So I think he would already have it. I mean, he scored 60 goals his rookie year. It was the year before. I mean, what is he, 72 away or something like that?
yeah. He'll get it. I mean, There's no doubt he's going to get it. It's just how long is it going to take? 2 seasons? Is it going to take 3? If he slows down a little?
I think it's going to be 3. Sadly.
Yeah.
But I would just like to see, like, if you could play his career back without those lockouts and the shortened seasons and everything, could he have hit 1,000? Like, yeah, I think like he could have just shattered that record.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's the greatest goal scorer. Austin Matthews is the next one up with the goal scoring. He's got like what 8 goals in 3 games.
His shot is
That's
unreal.
stupid. So watch that. I'm like, I'm so glad I suck at hockey and didn't have to. That like, I'm glad I was not good. But yeah, so I mean, that's the teams I grew up watching. But like, I went to high school. My senior year was Dylan Larkin's freshman year at Waterford Mott, and I played hockey against and growing up with Connor Hellebuck. So there's a lot of guys from my hometown that are in the show and tearing it up, and it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's pretty big Red Wings fan, and I'm a Ducks fan, and they've kind of been in a toilet worse than the Red Wings for the last 5-6 years. So yeah, it's always fun.
And it sucks that you guys didn't get the first pick, because I think Bedard with those guys would be nuts. I like him in Chicago, I really do, but
I think
you guys get hosed on the first overall picks.
Yeah, back when Crosby was the first overall, the Ducks got 2. I mean, it's just bad luck. I think Chicago's not a playoff team. Absolutely not. They won't make the playoffs this year, I don't think.
No, definitely this year. But
if he went to the Ducks, I think they would have been a playoff team. I think there were enough other pieces where, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy just because I'm a Ducks fan.
I think John Gibson, if he wasn't playing for the Ducks, would be one of the best. He's
and
so good.
I don't want him to go because I think he's an awesome person. I think he's a great goalie, but I also like feel bad for the guy.
He got no help. Oh, he's still in his prime. Let him go to a contender. Like, think about it. If he went to Buffalo,
he'll win a cup. He'll win a cup. He would.
If he went to a team, I'm trying to think of another team, like maybe even Ottawa. Even though Ottawa, I think they did some good signings in the offseason, but there's teams that if Gibson went to, they turn immediately into contenders.
Mm-hmm.
If he went to the Avs, game. Like that's the Avs are just so good, especially on the back end with their D pairings. But that's how the NHL works, though. I mean, there's a reason the worst teams get the first pick. You get the best players coming in. It's to make it more even and fair. And sadly, there's some franchises that are just really good at drafting and better at free agency.
Hey, but it always doesn't matter because the Oilers have McDavid. That was a great draft, and they can't win.
Yeah, they'll never win. They have the two best players in the world in Draisaitl and McDavid.
Yeah.
And they'll never win.
They're too top heavy of a team. They always, I don't know. They're not going to be able to take that next step with both of those guys.
I think you touched on baseball earlier. You might have said basketball. But I think the Oilers are going to get what the Red Sox had, the curse of the great Bambino, like trading Babe Ruth away and not winning for so long. The Oilers traded Gretzky away. He didn't want to leave. From what the rumors I always heard is he wanted to go to Detroit if he did get traded, but trade him to LA, and now you're cursed. You have the best player in the world in Connor McDavid. I think he might be the greatest hockey player I've ever seen.
He's unreal. The stuff he does is mind blowing.
Stupid. How talented he is. Even when he came into the league, he was doing this stuff, and it sucks because I don't think they'll ever win. I don't think he'll ever win if he stays in Edmonton. I'll pick up.
I don't think he'll stay in Edmonton forever. I think they'll try to keep him, but he'll figure it out. He's gonna want to win. Yeah, he's gonna leave.
Yeah, I don't see him unless he wins there, and I'm completely wrong, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I completely agree. Somebody else will throw the money at him if they can, if they get a chance, and he'll go win a cup somewhere else.
Line up and be like, hey, you made all your money.
Yeah.
Come here for 9.5 million.
Right. Right.
Like, they're like, oh, I mean, it's still 9.5 million. Like,
Yeah, it's not like they too much
pay,
of a pay cut.
yeah, that's a pay cut. So, yeah, good for him. He's so fun to watch. It's guys like that make hockey. With how the game is changing and the kind of enforcers getting taken out of it, except for like Revo and Folingo and guys like that. It's fun to see these new guys, the skill guys, come in and just be able to do what they do, like Zegras, like Bedard, like McDavid, um, Thompson in Buffalo. He's a freak.
I love watching him. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
To be that tall and that skilled with your hands, it's just
he's so good.
I mean, you got DeBrincat in Detroit again. You got guys all over the league, these young guys that are taking over, and it's fun to see the next the generation of talent that my son is going to watch. Like when I was growing up, it was Yzerman, it was Sakic, it was Forsberg, it was Lindros, it was all these guys, and to see the next generation coming in is pretty cool.
Yeah, you rattled off a few of the guys that you kind of liked from your past. Who's your favorite current player if you had to pick a guy currently?
Ovechkin.
Yeah.
He's just fun to. He doesn't even do anything. He stays in one spot the entire game, and it's just like he's gonna score.
Yeah,
it's just. But I mean, I guess to watch, my favorite player is hands down Ovechkin. But my favorite player to watch, I haven't seen enough of Bedard yet, but I think I might say Zegras. You never know what he's going to do.
He's a wild card.
Yeah, he's fun. I mean, there's a lot. There's so much good, and I love the American talent coming up too.
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
But I guess since I'm a goalie, I will say it's tough. It's either between Ottinger or Thatcher Demko. Both those guys are just so fun.
I really like Demko.
They're fun to watch. They're so skilled and positioned. They don't really make mistakes in their movement or anything like that. And I'm biased. I'm picking them because they're American. But I do love that. I love Ottinger down in Dallas. That kid is spectacular.
Yeah, he's really good. They're going to be dangerous this year. I mean, they're star-studded with that team. I think they can do something. Yeah, I mean, just talking about the guys with the skill. Obviously, as a Ducks fan, I love Zegras. There's a lot of people who don't like him. They don't like the way he plays. They don't like the flashy attitude he's got. All that, which, like, there was some guy on a podcast who basically, what did he say? Something like, if I played with in the time with Zegras, I'd bash his face in or whatever. And what? I can't. No. I can't remember who it was. Former enforcer, whoever it was.
I see
stupid.
I like Zegras in Anaheim, and I was so happy they re-signed him. I know it's only for 3 years, but he's the typical Southern Cal. Like, he looks like he belongs there. The long hair, he's like a golden retriever out there. It's awesome.
He's just having a good time too. He's living life.
He's a child making millions of dollars to play a game.
Yeah.
Can't take that serious. Like, there's no way. I mean, take it serious, work on your craft, all that stuff. But while you're out there, like, at the end of the day, he's a child and he's playing the greatest league in the world. Have fun and getting paid very, very well.
Most of the people that hate on him would probably, in a minute, take his spot if they could and do the exact same thing. So,
and there's always those players too in the league, like Marchand. Like, people hate him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was on your team,
you'd love him.
Would you hate him?
You'd love him. Caps fans. There's a lot of Caps fans that love Tom Wilson. They love him.
I love Tom Wilson. Yeah. Who won it? If he was the other team, everyone they would love them. I would hate
Yeah,
it. It's
exactly. Yeah.
to play against. If a guy, I mean, the game of hockey, like all sports, I'd say it's 70% mental. If you have it here, you can if you can hold your composure and not be stupid and have the work ethic and do all the workouts and everything you need to do, you'll make it anywhere.
Right. Yeah. People always hate the guys that aren't on their team because those are the guys that screw up their team. People hate Revo. Actually, I really like Revo. I think
I
Revo is a great player. I love
I,
his attitude, his mentality. I just, I love
yeah,
watching him.
Revo's awesome. I love watching Revo. I mean I love all those the kind of enforcer guys
Yeah.
um, that are still around. Like they're not around anymore just because they're enforcers. They're around because they're actually really great hockey players.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. I got the opportunity to play in a men's league tournament with Dan Carcillo, and I watched him. Like I watched him in the NHL. Like watching on TV, I'm like, this guy sucks. It's a typical like meme or whatever of the guy sitting on the couch telling the athlete that he could. Up. And then we get him out on the ice with us. I'm like, this guy's the best player I've ever seen ever. Like, why is he not in the NHL anymore? So, I mean, they're so they're so gifted at that level
Oh
that
yeah.
it's insane.
Right. And you look at these guys, and they don't put up huge numbers scoring, but when they do score, it is impressive. And they're not needed necessarily to score. They probably could score more if they had to, but they don't. There's other guys on the team who are more meant to score, and they chip in when they're needed. So it's yeah, I mean, I love those guys too, and like they're few and far between, but they're never fully going to go away. Every team's always going to probably have one enforcer at least, and they'll drop
It,
the gloves and
the guys like Marchand and Wilson and guys that want to get in, it's always going to be there. That's why I always tell the guys on my team when they ask if I'm going to have my son play hockey. One, if he wants to play hockey, 100% you can play hockey. But I'm just gonna be like, dude, be a little shit starter. Like that's all you got. Every team wants one. Every team is gonna need that.
yeah.
Just get out there, play hockey, play the game right, but get in their ear. Don't lick anyone like Marchand did, but have fun and just kind of like stir the pot a little bit. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So what's your favorite non-hockey sport?
Football, football or golf. So I and this is very controversial. I would say football is my favorite sport. I love football.
Oh.
I absolutely love football. I mean I even watch the CFL. Like that's how much I love football. Um, but I love hockey. It's with it being a job kind of now too, and like owning the snow and all that stuff that goes into it. During the summers, I get stressed. I'm like, I hate this game, but we're 6 days away from our first game, and I'm so excited to get back and see the guys and everything like that. But I would say my top three because I can't really decide. It depends on the season, really,
Yep.
where I.
Yep.
But it's hockey, golf, and football.
Yeah. I'm in the same way. Right now, my favorite sport is football.
Yeah.
In the middle of March, I'd probably tell you my favorite sport is hockey because I'm
Yeah.
all in on hockey. Or basketball. I'd be like March Madness. Love March Madness. I'm all in on it. I can't pick. I
Yeah.
love I'm just a sports lover. That's what I say.
Exactly.
I just love sports.
I love all sports. Like even baseball. I hate watching baseball. I like listening to baseball, but you know how hard it is to hit a baseball and how hard that
Oh
sport
yeah.
is? You can't take away from how talented those guys. They fail 70% of the time to be great at their sport.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I mean, they hit a fastball at 100 miles per hour
And
is
it's and then you've got somebody out there who will make a diving leap 30
yeah.
feet that way and snag that fastball that somebody just hit coming off that bat. Just,
Yeah. Well, and my thing is too, like someone's throwing a ball at you from a short distance away, and also sometimes it's gonna move. It's gonna
Yeah.
cut through the. That's insane. To have that hand-eye coordination to hit that ball is nuts. So, no, I appreciate all sports, even soccer. Like every sport is awesome. I mean, I love playing all of them. When we do our youth camps in the summer, our second off ice, I try and get the kids doing other things. Like we played kickball this year, handball, just little things to get them moving and introducing them to new sports.
Yeah. So you a Lions fan? If you like football?
Diehard Lions fan. That's really the only Detroit team that I've always been for some reason in love with. I mean, I have a Joey Harrington jersey somewhere here. Like that's commitment to have his jersey. But no,
You gotta be
I love.
happy now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm happy every year I say they're going to make the playoffs. Every year I've been wrong. This year we finally have the team. Like it's exciting to watch. I mean, last year we started 1-6, so there is things can turn around. I'm not saying they are. I'm very optimistic in this team. I've always said that this is Dan Campbell's the guy. When we made the trade for Jared Goff, I was like, Jared Goff's been to more Super Bowls than Matt. I love Matt Stafford. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the best quarterback in Lions history. But Jared Goff took a team to the Super Bowl. Like he's a good quarterback. He's serviceable. And right now he's in the MVP conversation. So it's fun to watch. Like it's fun to see all the people these past few years that I go out to the bar to watch the game. They're talking crap about the Lions, and now their Facebook's blowing up. One Pride, go Lions, all this stuff. I'm like, back off. Go back. I'm assuming you're a Packers fan.
No, not. I used to be. Growing up, I was because everybody from the UP's like there's some Lions fans up here, but they're mostly Packer fans.
I call the UP Eastern Wisconsin.
Yeah,
you're connected.
So, I was, and I just realized like I'm only a Packer fan because everybody else is a Packer fan. I boxed up all my crap, got rid of it, and I was like, I need a new team. So I started kind of following the Bengals for a little bit because I really love Andy Dalton. He's my favorite football player. I love Andy Dalton.
I loved the Red Rock, man.
Yeah, exactly. But then they traded him, and I was like, you know what, this organization I don't really like, whatever. So it's like, who do I want to be a fan of? I was like, you know what, the Titans have cool jerseys. I like the Titans. I like the Oilers history. So I've been a Titans fan ever since, for the last however many years. And I mean,
Cable's awesome. He's a great coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. He's a player's coach. He's
like Dan Campbell. He's like those guys.
Oh yeah. Same type of guy.
I'm a big supporter. I like to watch the Tennessee Titans just because Derrick Henry. There's no a human being should be that big, that fast.
Yeah,
that's true. He is something special to watch, and it's pretty cool. Man. So, no, that's a fun team. I don't know what they're gonna do with their quarterback situation though. I mean, you got Willis.
I like Tannehill. I think he's a good quarterback. I like that he kind of revived his career. He's not the guy to win a Super Bowl. So, I don't think he's ever gonna get that in his career. Now he's hurt. So
yeah, I like Malik. I think they got, but Will Levis, he could be a guy too. I mean, you got two good young quarterbacks that you can grow with and see who you got. So I mean, the future's bright for Tennessee. I mean, Henry's on his way out a little bit, but I think he's got two more.
New running back they've got. Tyjae Spears is showing a lot of life.
Yeah, he's young. He hasn't been in the league for 10 years like Henry, getting beat to crap. Hey, yeah, look at like Henry. He's been in the league for, 10 years now. And he also played in the SEC. And that's pretty much the NFL with defenses anyways. So he's been
taking a lot of abuse.
He's been beat up. So
2,000-yard season. I mean,
it's incredible how talented. I mean, that's why I love sports. Like some of these guys are just so gifted.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it was, can't remember who played Florida State this past weekend. It might have been Louisville, but Keon Coleman.
I think Syracuse. Yeah,
it was Syracuse. Yeah, Keon Coleman, the receiver for Florida State. Syracuse's coach was like, God was showing off when he made him. Like it's crazy. The most electric guys in college football right now is a basketball player at Michigan State last year, so or maybe 2 years ago. But it's just nuts, and that's the other thing. I don't like the transfer portal, but love all sports. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Are you a Sparty guy or Michigan?
Texas,
Texas.
Texas. Vince
Longhorns.
Vince Young died like
Okay.
ever since
Yeah.
the Bowl game. I remember watching that, and that was when my love for football really took off. Um, Watching him scramble it in to beat USC, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Pete Carroll. Um, that was when my like love for football just went off, and I've been a Texas fan through a lot of bad years. A couple Saturdays ago was rough when we lost to Oklahoma, but that's my squad. My sister went to Michigan State, so I would lean more, I guess, to state for
Yeah.
in state free. But no, Texas all the way.
I can't stand Michigan. I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan.
Oh,
Like
are you?
crazy Notre Dame fan. Football, basketball, hockey, the works. I love Notre Dame. I'm always on Notre Dame no matter how bad they are, no matter how overrated people say Notre Dame is. I'm always on the Notre Dame hype train. Love
Yeah,
my Irish. Can't
I
stand
love.
Michigan.
Um, but yeah, no, I've just always been. I loved Brady Quinn back in the day too, so that was he was one of the guys. But yeah, no, it's always been Texas.
I respect that.
Yeah, something. It's something. I mean, we had Vince Young and then Colt McCoy. That kind of helped.
Yeah.
A lot of down years. A lot of down years. It's fun to see Mac Brown though coaching at North Carolina and what he's doing there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it's Texas all the way.
Sark is I think if he gets a chance, right now I think he's got the program in a good spot moving forward. You think you got Arch Manning and he could be the future of Longhorn football.
I
So
I, I want to hope he is, but I just have a feeling that he was so highly touted because of his last name and who his uncles are. I don't want that to be true. His spring game didn't go that well this year.
sometimes
But
that pressure can get, you know, you're
yeah,
put on a
and
pedestal at such a young age.
what he did with all his NIL money and giving that away to charities and stuff like that. So he's got the right head on his shoulder. I mean, look at his uncles, who they are. There's
Yeah.
a lot of baggage to live up to. So I think he'll figure it out. I think I love Sark. He's
Yeah.
he's awesome. He's one of my favorite coaches in college football right now, and you got to see where he came from, who he learned from, and it's the best. I mean, Nick Saban. Everyone can say whatever you want about him. The guy knows how to recruit football players though, and
He
have
does.
great. So, um, I mean, look at how many assistant coaches he has that are D1 college coaches or in the NFL. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. But yeah, I think Texas is back. I want to say it. I know we lost to Oklahoma.
It was a
But
close game though. I mean,
I,
Oklahoma's a good team.
yeah, that Dylan Gabriel kid.
He's a
Holy,
stud.
yeah.
He's a
Where
stud.
I remember him at US or UCF, and I'm like, I feel like that was like 10 years ago. Like, how's he still in college? Dude, I mean, that last drive, I was screaming at my TV. I was like, oh, I can't believe it. He played amazing, and
That's
that's
how
what I
I
love.
that's how I felt during the Notre Dame Ohio State game, the last drive. I was screaming at my TV.
I couldn't believe that. That was I, I didn't get it. I was like, wow, what just happened? And I
Yeah.
sat there staring at the replay like he was down. He was down. He was down. Nope. I was pulling for Notre Dame. I wanted them to have a really good year this year because Sam Hartman and everything. And I like your guys' coach, but just didn't go that way.
No, just gotta wait for the 12-team playoff, and then everyone's got a chance.
But the 12-team playoffs, there's going to be so many people like, oh, this team's undefeated. They should still be in. Like, I don't think a MAC school should be in. I drove to Dallas, Texas to watch Western Michigan when they were undefeated. They got murdered by Wisconsin. Wisconsin was like 9-4 or something like that. They got destroyed. So I would love to see a Cinderella story like that, like in March Madness, like we were talking about earlier, but football is just different. And now with the transfer portal, you see all these teams every Saturday, like, oh, he was at Mid Tennessee State last year. Now he's the number one guy on SEC's defense. So there is talent there. I just don't see. I guess there's not really Power 5 conferences anymore. There's going to be two. There's going to be the Big Ten and the SEC, with all the moving around in the conferences. So we'll see. I don't know how it's gonna. I just think even with the 12 teams, there's still going to be people that aren't happy with it.
Yeah. Well, I guess you still got the ACC and the Big 12 too. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not the same, but you guess you have a Power 4 kind of. I don't know. I think I'm okay with a group of 5 team, one team getting a guaranteed spot, the highest group of 5 team to win their conference.
yeah, I like that. I would be fine with that.
But that's probably it. There shouldn't be like you said, another one. The other 11 teams should all be SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12, independent if it's like Notre Dame.
Oh, who do they have now with Texas and Oklahoma leaving? West Virginia. I guess they have West Virginia, Kansas.
They got Utah coming in. They got Arizona State coming in. So
yeah, I guess they're getting the rest of the teams from the Pac-12.
Colorado is moving in. So
that it's Colorado. It's another story.
Yeah, if you don't like the transfer portal,
No, see, I love Deion.
Yeah,
I love Deion Sanders. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time. I just knew as soon as they were getting all that hype and I was surprised they held their own against USC, but we just saw USC is not
go Irish.
Yeah, they're not the real deal.
And we just saw Colorado, Stanford come back.
That was Stanford's, I think, second win.
Yeah.
Deion's gonna get it. He's gonna get the players.
It takes time.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll take that much time. Next year, he's gonna bring in a recruiting class, a high recruiting class.
I think next year they're contenders. I think they'll be ranked in the top 10 next year. Especially if Shador comes back. That guy, he's got an arm on him. He's a good football. And Travis Hunter, like you can't. He's really good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But yeah, no, it's a fun time in the sports world for everything. Like this is. You got NBA season kicking off. You got NHL season kicking off. We're in the second month of the NFL and Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yeah, college football. You got college basketball in a month. College hockey. You got everything.
Yeah, this is the best time of year. Like this is my favorite time of the year. And I hate the heat. I hate summer. I do not like hotness. So once it starts getting colder, I love it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I wouldn't say I hate hotness. My favorite is fall. I don't like winter a lot. I love the 40s to 60s, that range.
That's where I'm at. I love that. That's like like I said, I'm a big golfer, and this summer was just too hot to golf sometimes. Like I get out there, I'm out there to play 18, and I'm just like, this sucks. And then I just have to drink more to cool off, and then I'm just drunk, and it's not good. Golf's not fun. Hitting everything into the water.
Yeah. All right. So while we end the episode, you're gonna have to make 3 takes here. Who's gonna win the Stanley Cup, the Super Bowl, and the college football playoff? Who's gonna win all those 3? Rattle them off.
Stanley Cup, not Edmonton. God, Stanley Cup's tough because I think the Stanley Cup playoffs is the toughest Any team can win. We saw it last year. 8 seeds can go all the way and everything
Yeah.
like that. Out of respect for my favorite team, I would say Washington. It won't happen, but them are no Colorado.
Okay. That,
I
that
think
that could happen.
that could happen. If McKinnon has a good year, that'll happen. Um, College football playoffs, Texas. We're getting in. We're gonna
Still,
win.
yeah, still have a chance. Just got to win the
We're,
Big 12.
we're gonna win the Big 12. There's no divisions. We get Oklahoma again. We're not gonna make that mistake twice. Dylan Gabriel, it's coming. It's coming. Texas wins the national championship, and then Super Bowl. I love the Lions. But I said at the beginning of the year, I really thought it was going to be a rematch from last year. If the 49ers can stay healthy, I don't see any team beating that. Like anyone beating that team. But I mean, without McCaffrey and Debo, Brock Purdy is not a machine. We saw that this past weekend. So you know what? Screw it. Detroit Lions, Super Bowl champs.
not
Screw it.
not horrible picks. Can't say I agree with them.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah.
I just feel bad for the city of Detroit and what it's become. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've been there recently. Everything they've done is amazing. Lions win, it's all burned down. It's if the Lions win the Super Bowl, there is no more Detroit. The party will completely destroy this.
Well, I don't think Detroit's gonna win, so they don't have to worry about it. They got their nice city.
It would be nice to see them win, but I mean the teams. There's so many good teams right now that are at the top. I mean,
It's
what the
crazy.
Dolphins, the Bills are doing, the Chiefs always. I mean, I'm so happy that Taylor Swift put them on the map, so people can actually see that they're a very talented football team. The Eagles, it's crazy, but yeah, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Lions.
I would say for the NHL, the Stanley Cup, I'm gonna say Dallas, like we talked about. A lot of talent there. That's who I'm gonna go with. College football, I'm gonna say Washington is gonna win the national championship. Michael Penix Jr. I think he's the Heisman favorite. He's so good. The receivers. And then NFL, I was on the Jets train. I was like, Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna win a Super Bowl. The Jets. Obviously, that's not good. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I think that'd be my pick right now. I know they lost to the Bills after the 70 points, but
they still put up points and lost
in a
to
game.
the. So it's not that bad. Like you gotta look at it like it's not. It's not.
You
horrible.
put up 70 points, so you lose to the Bills the next week. It doesn't matter. The Bills are a good team, like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, all those guys. I don't know. Any team that can win 70-20, I don't care if it's the Broncos or they're that bad. But still 70 points.
70 points in an NFL game.
Come on.
College games. And some of these guys are playing against accountants. Like that was insane. Like those guys are paid millions of dollars to play football and you let up 70 points. But to say like how crazy would it be if the Jets did make it, led by Zach Wilson, and his whole turnaround was just seeing Donna Kelsey, and that's what got him going. Donna Kelsey and Taylor Swift, and now he's just boom on a tear. Like he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game.
Yeah,
crazy.
I think the win yesterday against the Eagles shows a lot that they aren't finished. You can't count them out, but I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Or that pass interference call, they would have beat the Chiefs. And
I'd be 4-2.
Yeah, I wouldn't count the Jets out. I think the Jets are especially with that defense. I wouldn't count them out.
I feel like I can't stick with my pick to then win the Super Bowl.
I don't think they can win it all, but don't count them out.
They can make the playoffs.
I would say there's probably 6 teams right now that should be in Super Bowl talks, and that's Dolphins, Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Eagles, 49ers. Those are the six that everyone should be.
Cowboys? Come
Cowboys are
on.
like
I'm not
never
I'm
win.
not a Cowboys fan, but
Cowboys are like
uh,
they'll never win.
they should be in the talks, I think. They have a
They're,
chance.
I mean, their defense is good, but it's struggled since Diggs went down.
It's also kind of Dak or die. It's like Dak has a good day, the team has a
Dak,
good day.
Dak could go out there one day and throw for 340 yards, 4 touchdown passes, have 50 on the ground, no interceptions. Next game, he could be playing the Arizona Cardinals and have 3 picks and
Yeah.
5 yards passing. So who knows? They're like they're like the Jets. They're in the wild card part. So you have your six. They're up here. Those are the contenders. Those are the teams that should
Yeah.
be in the
Yeah.
conversation. And then you got your wild cards. Like I think the Falcons are kind of a wild card. I think they have a very good team, but Desmond Ritter's hit or miss. I
He's
think he sucks.
garbage.
Yeah, I
He's
think he
not good.
sucks. He was proved can't win. Even the home only winning at home thing isn't going to work after this weekend. But I think they have a good team. If they made a trade for Justin Fields, I'd put them in that.
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think Justin Fields is so good.
He's
I love.
phenomenal.
I hate the
His
Bears.
team sucks so
Yeah,
much.
Justin Fields is unreal. Um, but yeah, there's so much talent. It's professional sports. Like they're all good. All those players are good. It's just who has the better ones.
Right now, I think one of the best things, most things to be happy about as a sports fan is past few years in a lot of sports, it's been college football, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, it's been the Patriots in the NFL. It's been, all these teams just winning and winning and winning. And now you're seeing other teams. You get the Vegas Golden Knights, they win a Stanley Cup after being in the league. You got this year, nobody has a clue what's going to happen in college football. We're talking about the NFL. There's all these different teams. Last year's March Madness, none of the number one seeds made it to the
Yeah,
Final Four. I
last
mean,
year's Madness. Last year's March Madness. I literally was like, I don't know who's going to win. Usually, it's like, oh, Duke, Michigan State, North Carolina, Kansas, Gonzaga, which that's just a dumb pick. They never do it. They're like they go undefeated pretty much every year. They lose like 2 games, and then they lose in the Sweet 16. But it's a great time in sports right now. These past like 3 years to where we're going, it's fun to watch.
oh yeah, it's definitely it's the best time to be a sports fan. That is for sure.
It's awesome.
All right, well, Myles, thanks for coming on the pod, sharing about the MIHL, the Gaylord Snow, all that, and then just talking some sports. Love it. Had a great time.
Yeah, no, I had a blast. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll talk soon.